One of the most difficult transitions for a leader to make is the shift from doing to leading. Whether you're a project manager, an entrepreneur, or in some similar position of authority, maximizing your effectiveness at delegating is really going to increase your productivity and help maintain your sanity in tight deadlines and when you have large workloads. The problem is that many managers and entrepreneurs aren't willing to delegate unless they really have to, or perhaps they don't know how to do this effectively. In this video, learn how to delegate effectively and maximize your effectiveness. Hi, I'm Carol Mould. For more advice on how to develop your leadership skills and realize your potential, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I release a new video every Tuesday. If you have already subscribed, thank you so much for doing so. With my background in organizational psychology and project management, my YouTube channel focuses on the intersection between these areas, namely leadership skills or soft skills. A useful perspective into time management, and also a tool that we'll see can be quite useful for delegation, is called the Eisenhower Matrix. This was created by Dwight Eisenhower, American president. The idea was also popularized by Stephen Covey in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which, although was written quite some time ago, is still relevant and a very good read if you'd like to go further into this matrix. Essentially, what happens here is we look on two axes. We look at a task to see whether it's important or not, and secondly, how urgent it is. So in quadrant 1, we have tasks that are both urgent and important. In quadrant 2, tasks that are important but not urgent, or perhaps not yet urgent. In quadrant 3, we have tasks that are urgent but not important. And in quadrant 4, tasks that are neither urgent nor important. Let's have a look at these in a bit more detail and look at some examples of what could happen in each of these quadrants. So if we look at quadrant 1, things that are both important and urgent, this would be where we had planned to do tasks and they are now due to be done. So that's where they get their urgency, is their time has come and we need to now do those. This is also where emergencies would fit in. So things that were unexpected, unplanned, but something that needs to be dealt with right away. We could also put into this quadrant complaints from customers and crises that have arisen. Also demands from managers or customers. What would also go in this quadrant is meetings and appointments that have been scheduled and are due to do now. If we then go across and look in quadrant 2, this is really all about planning and preparation. This is where we'll do our research and also where we take care of building relationships now rather than when things become urgent. This is where we do our thinking, our creating, and development of processes to help streamline the things that we need to do. This is where we think about prevention rather than curing crises. And we also look at strategizing. Let's look at quadrant 4 next. These are things that are neither important nor urgent. This would be spending hours on Facebook, just going through our feeds and seeing what's happening out there. Excessive coffee breaks would fall into this category. Chatting and gossiping, daydreaming and doodling. This is also where we'd read irrelevant material, perhaps go down various rabbit holes on the internet and forget what we started out doing in the first place. And we might also embellish tasks, spending a bit longer than we need to, adding bits that are not really necessary, just as a way of avoiding things that are perhaps urgent and important. If we look at quadrant 3, these are routine tasks, repeatable tasks, perhaps pressing priorities that others can handle. So when we say that these tasks are not important, it's also useful, particularly if we're thinking about using the model for delegating, to think about things that are not necessarily important for us to do ourselves. So pressing priorities that others can handle, if they can do it instead of us, then that would alleviate time that we could put onto things that are more important that we do ourselves. Other things in this quadrant would be detailed, time-consuming work that if we could free up our time and delegate to someone else, that would be really valuable. We can also think about tasks that we normally do, but that could be stretch assignments for others in our team and help others to grow. We could also look at tasks that sap our energy and see if there's a team member that enjoys doing that work and rather delegate it to them. So if we look at quadrant 1, what should we do about those? Those are the things that we need to do first. Quadrant 2, those are things that we schedule to do. Quadrant 3 is our prime candidates for delegation or outsourcing. In quadrant 4, we really shouldn't be there at all. We should cease and desist from doing those things. So here's a question for you. What do you do all day? I asked myself the same question in preparing this YouTube video, and I must say that I got some interesting answers from myself and a couple of light bulb moments that are going to help improve and streamline my own work in the future. So the headings I put here in the spreadsheet, and I'm happy to link below a copy of the spreadsheet so that you can have a copy of it, is to list the tasks that I was doing, how much time I spent on them, what my level of enjoyment was, or did it add to my energy, or did it sap my energy? What's the level of skill? So is it something that only I'm skilled to do, or is it something that I can teach someone else to do on my behalf? And then the question that I mentioned in the previous slide, how important is it that I do the task myself? And lastly, we look at the urgency to help us to plot this into the Eisenhower Matrix. So here are a few examples that I worked through. In producing YouTube videos, an important thing is to do keyword research so that we know how people are going to find our videos and be able to watch them. So I spent a couple of hours doing keyword research for my upcoming videos. My enjoyment was kind of medium. My daughter would say, meh. Skill level, medium. It's not something that I could just tell someone to do right away, but if I were to coach them and tell them what I'm looking for, then it's something that I could hand over to someone else. Is it important that I do this myself? Actually, no, it isn't. Is it urgent? Well, yes, it is one of the steps that I need to do before I can create YouTube videos. Filming the actual video, I do enjoy that. It is something that is highly skilled, and because it's my YouTube channel, it's not really easy to substitute myself with someone else, then it would be their channel. So it's important that I do this myself, and it's also urgent. Editing the video, medium enjoyment, medium skill level. So it's something that a lot of people have skills at, probably better than mine. And no, it's not important that I do this myself. Yes, it is urgent. Promotion of my videos. I spend a fair bit of time on this, and I was quite surprised when I had to quantify this. It's not something that I get a huge amount of enjoyment out of. It sort of varies depending on how I'm promoting it. Requires a medium skill level. I would have to coach someone through what I was looking for, but once I'd done that, they could be up and running and do this on their own. It's not important that I do this myself, although it's urgent. Now, the thing that I've been neglecting, which if I were to try and outsource some of the other tasks, I could then free up more time to do, and that is to develop more online courses. The skill level is high, and because they would be my courses, it's important that I do them. They are urgent, but you can see in the time spent that I've not been spending time on them as I would wish to. And so that is something that I need to reorganize, delegate some of the other tasks out, and free up time to develop more online courses. So let's recap and talk a bit further about things and tasks that we can delegate. So as I mentioned, it's routine tasks, repeatable tasks that, although it might be quicker for me to do the first time, if it's repeatable and it's going to happen a lot of times, it is worth the investment of me teaching someone else to do it so that in the future it will free up my time that I usually spend on those tasks. Pressing priorities that others can handle. So they're urgent things, but they are possible to be done by other people. Those are prime candidates for outsourcing or delegating. Details, time-consuming work. If I can delegate that, it would free up a lot of my time. Tasks that can help others to grow and increase their skills, and tasks that sap our energy. So if we go back to the spreadsheet and have a look at what can we delegate, based on those considerations, I have realized that I could outsource my keyword research and my video editing, as well as some of the promotion of my videos. That would free up the time to do more filming of new YouTube videos and also to develop online courses. Here are some of the barriers to delegation, and you might identify with some of these. So first of all, you might feel a bit guilty asking someone else to do your work, think that it's passing off work that you should do. But really, as a manager, your job is to get things done, not necessarily to do them yourself. And you're also trying to grow your team, giving them new assignments. You might think you can do it better, and that may be true at least at first, but if you train people and allow them to develop that skill, after some time they will be able to do it just as well, if not better, than you. You might be nervous about letting go, and that might be quite common when you're making the shift from a doer to a manager. trust the system. It is necessary, and you'll find a lot of value once you get used to letting go of certain tasks. But if you are nervous, start small and do tasks that are not that strategic, not that critical, and a fairly small task so that you have time to recover if something doesn't go that well when you first delegate. You might be concerned about the cost of delegating, but have a think about if you could free up your time to do higher revenue generating tasks, then it makes economical sense to outsource tasks that you can outsource for cheaper than the amount that you could earn if you free up that time. So really just run the numbers and you might find that it pays for itself. You think it would be quicker to do it yourself? As I said, that may be true for the first 1 or 2 times, but after a while, you no longer have to do that task at all. You might have very minimal involvement with the person that's doing it, and you can rather spend your time on those things that are critical for you to do yourself. So then, how do we delegate tasks effectively? First thing you need to do is to choose the right person. So this might be someone that's already on your team, or perhaps you're looking at getting someone part-time to join your team. And you want to make sure that they have the right skills and ability and are just the right person for that task. So you need to think clearly and carefully about what that task requires, what the skills are of the person that needs to do that, and really think carefully about choosing that correct person. Then once we've got the right person, we need to make sure that we explain the reason for the task. Why is the task valuable, and how can that person contribute to doing that task successfully? Inspire their commitment. If they understand the reason for the task and can buy in to doing the task, that's going to raise the chances of success for that task. Another tip is to describe the results that you're looking for rather than getting too down into detail with the methods. Depending on the person and their familiarity with the task from previous work that they've done, they may need some coaching in the methods. However, if you can describe the results and let them choose their own methods, that will inspire their commitment further and allow them some freedom to see how they would like to do the task. Make sure that you provide the necessary resources to the person and make sure that you give them authority to do the work that they need to do. Far too often we delegate work, but we don't give the person the authority that they need, and that constrains their effectiveness. Then we need to check and provide feedback and how to decide what level of involvement is needed from you. A good idea is just to ask the person and discuss with them and come to an agreement together as to how frequently and how much involvement there will be from your side, and also check the timing of that task and the timing of those feedback sessions. Once again, get their agreement. That will raise their level of commitment to do the work. And when they've done the work, don't forget to say thank you and to value their work. And at this stage, you could also do a bit of a retrospective and see how well did it go. And next time, is there anything that we would like to do a bit differently so that we can get even better at delegating this work? What are the benefits of effective delegation? Well, it helps us as leaders to not spread ourselves too thinly, and we can focus on the high value add activities that we need to do personally. Delegation is a really key leadership skill. So if we get better at delegating, we are improving our leadership skills and our organization will become more effective, and it allows our team members to grow. So we grow as leaders and our team members grow as contributors. This also helps team members to be more committed to their jobs. So final thought that I'll leave you with here is to analyze your tasks. Use the spreadsheet that you can find the link down below and have a look at those different headings. See which tasks you should spend more time on and which tasks you should spend less, if any, time on, and you can delegate those to others. If you're not that familiar with delegation, start small, one task, one person at a time, see how you go, adjust if need be, and then take on more delegation as you grow in confidence with your delegating and as your team members grow in confidence with taking on those new tasks as well. I hope you now have a better understanding of delegation and feel more equipped to delegate effectively. Please also watch my other videos in the series of leadership skills. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Tuesday. Thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.